Do they win the game? Do they not? I don't really care. 8 points just seems like too many. What's going on, guys? Western Conference Game 4. Going to go over that video. That game in today's video is what I'm trying to say. Both the spread and the total. Coming off another winner, guys. We are now 22-13. That is 63% winning percentage, guys. Indiana covers the spread. They were unable to once again close the game and extend the series, but they do get the cover. Quickly, the pick that went out on SoBet today was a losing pick. All the updated numbers are on the bottom of the screen. So my SoBet record, which is the daily best bet, one pick a day on SoBet, falls to 30-13 over the past 43 days. Gave out the team total over for the Pacers at 107.5. The offense just completely dried up in those last few minutes. They couldn't buy a shot. So unfortunately, that went under the total. And then the Techs, of course, that went out to clients today, did lose a little bit of money today. I think we went 2-3, I think, today. The Tech's on the screen, but I don't have it in front of me right now. So I'm just trying to remember. We were on the Pacers to cover the spread. We were on the San Francisco Giants. So it was a 1-1 day in the MLB. Took a stab at the Cardinals against the Cincinnati Reds coming off that Dodgers series sweep. Thought it was a nice letdown spot for the Cincinnati Reds. But St. Louis was unable to get it done. And then we had both team totals over. I didn't want to just take the over as a single bet. I wanted to divide it in case one team got a lot of points and one team didn't. So we did have both teams to go over their team total. So overall, a small losing day in premium. If you guys are interested in the SoBet access to my premium, all the links are in the description of the video. Let's just get right into today's game here. Let's bring up the money splits, and hopefully the connection's not too bad on this video. I see on my screen right now, it's kind of in and out. So I apologize if the audio is not perfect today. So I'll try to make this video rather quick, but I feel very strongly about this game. Okay, it just seems like the stars are aligning for a certain scenario. In terms of the money splits, we do have sharp money on the Dallas side of things in terms of the spread, but no one's betting the spread. At least a lot of people are not going to bet the spread in a game like this. The spread is only 2 points. So this is a money line play. If people are on Dallas, I'm assuming they have a brain and they're not laying the 2 points. By the way, if you guys do like Dallas to get the sweep, to get the job done here, do not lay the 2 points. Go on the money line. It's not worth the extra risk here. So we got about 40% of bets against the spread on Dallas, and about 55% of the money. But that's not what I'm interested in. I'm going to look at the money splits on the money line because I think that it does represent a large majority of the money being bet on this game. And right now, the sharp money is on Minnesota. Not much of it. It's nothing crazy. It's not like an alarm bell going off in my head, but it is there. We're looking at 60.9. So almost 61% of bets made on the money line are on the Minnesota Timberwolves. But about 67.2% of the money on the money line. So, and you know what? The books are moving the line. It's come down. I think this opened at 3.5. It's down to a 2. So all the people that think this is going to be a sweep, here's my opinion as to why I like the Timberwolves to win this game outright. Here's why I'm thinking that. Okay, so we have the TNT crew, all the media, everyone is just all over the Minnesota players, just not being ready and just not showing up, especially Karl Anthony Towns. Everyone's all over him. But this is still a team that knows what it's like being up against with their back up against the wall. They just went 7 with the Denver Nuggets. They won 3 games in Denver, one being a game 7 elimination game. In my opinion, going to Denver, beating the defending championship team with the MVP on their team, on their home court in Denver, I think that is a more difficult task than this task. I think the Mavericks, looking at their energy in terms of the media conferences and all the interviews they've been doing and stuff, they're pretty happy. They're pretty fat and happy. They're pretty content. They seem just in good moods, cracking jokes. It's almost like like kids on a field trip. I don't know. I think they're going to take it not as serious as they need to here. I think the Mavericks are just a little bit too comfortable right now. And I know no team has ever come back from 3-0. I'm not going to say that. But I do think a really good wager that you guys could consider is a series wager, depending on, do you think this is possibly going to go 7? I mean, I really think it's possible this goes 7 here. I mean, let's say the Timberwolves win this game. Okay. And sorry, guys, I'm having a hard time talking today. The stupid fucking icon on the screen keeps telling me my Wi-Fi is going in and out, in and out. So I'm like assuming everything I'm saying right now is jumbled, and I'm hoping by the time this is recorded and edited and stuff that you guys at least know what I'm talking about, so I don't have to redo it. So it's just a little bit of a distraction. So sorry about that. But back to what I'm saying about why I think this can go 6, maybe even 7 games here, is because if my big idea, okay, going into these game 4s was the Pacers are at home. You would think they would have the advantage not to get swept because they have the home crowd, right? They have good metrics, a season-long a pile of statistics showing, them in favor at home versus Celtics team that has shown to be mentally weak in the past. But they were not the healthy team. And even if they won that game, then they have to travel to Boston. So it's like, really, you're going to scratch and claw just to get one win and then have to go back to Boston? Versus now in this game, the Timberwolves know if they can just steal this game, if they can just get this one, the next game is at home. So basically, if the Timberwolves can win this game, and I know Dallas is a much better team on the road than they are at home, and I know the Timberwolves are much better on the road than they are at home too. So I know there's some things that support the Mavericks might even win game 5 on the road and close this thing out next game. But I don't see it. I don't see the Timberwolves losing 3 in a row at home. I think they can get a W in the next game. All these games have been close. I've said it for many games now. I favor the Mavericks, at least in those previous games, because I like them having the advantage of 2 clutch players for an end of game situation when it's close. But I think the Wolves have learned their lesson that Karl Anthony Towns jacking up 3-pointers when his percentage is just absolutely dreadful is not the solution. I think if they can get into close games again, they're not going to make the same mistakes. I think they'll have a decent game plan to do whatever they got to do to get the ball out of Luka or Kyrie's hands, force someone else to make the shot, and it'll be the Mavericks coming up short. So I think the Wolves, knowing all the media hype, all the negative things in the media, all these articles and all these interviews of all this negative talk about the Timberwolves, the Boston Celtics already completing the sweep, everything looking wrong for the Timberwolves. They're too young, too inexperienced. They're not ready for the moment. We see all this. And yet on the road, the spread is 2. So the sports books are going to give us that much of a layup. A team, a series that doesn't even look close, a series that looks like it's going to be a sweep, and the spread is 2. What's the money line? So you're telling me right now you can just lay -120 on the money line with the Mavericks and just get free money? You think the NBA doesn't have at least a little bit of outside influence in this game to try to extend this series? Both the conference finals are going to be sweeps? Absolutely not. I don't think so. I'm not buying it. I'm all over the Timberwolves in this game, and I will be betting it against the spread. Give me the Timberwolves plus the 2, man. I'm going to take the points because I'm not greedy. If I'm betting an underdog, I always take the points. 1 point, anything you're going to give me, I will take, but I do think the Timberwolves get the job done here. I think they show up start to finish. Maybe you could look at the first half. There's a couple different angles to play this game that are a little bit more profitable, in my opinion, that I'll give out to clients in premium today. I'll send that text out to everybody right after this video. But yeah, give me the T-Wolves, man. They're going to win this game. They're going to win the next one. And then it's right back to a very, very tense, high intensity game 6 back in Dallas. And I'm not saying that this can't be the first time in history a team has come back from 3-0. I seriously see the avenue. I see the angle. You steal this game while the Mavericks are all super like laughing and giggling and all positive. You steal this, then you're back at home Then all of a sudden you're totally in the series. It's 3-2. You go back to Dallas knowing if you can just get one more road game, you're probably going to win this thing. I think it's a long shot bet, and I think it's worth a tiny sprinkle right now, not only for the Timberwolves to win this series, but for the Timberwolves to win the whole entire NBA championship. I don't think it's a bad bet for maybe a tenth of a unit. I mean, a tiny amount of money, but the odds are plus 4,100. And we're going to ignore that. If they can just get this game, things can snowball rather quickly. If Karl Anthony Towns sat down in a dark room, blindfolded with his hands tied behind his back, and did some therapy stuff and just listened on speakers for hours of Shaq and everyone on the TNT panel and everyone on ESPN saying how he's horrible and he can't shoot and blah, blah, blah. If this Timberwolves team, the same team that took down the Denver Nuggets, a healthy Denver Nuggets team, there's no doubt in my eyes that it's at least possible that they can win this game, come back, win this series, and win it all. Because we know the Celtics are soft, and the Celtics have had an absolute cakewalk. Every single team they've played has not been healthy. And that's another reason I think this is a win for Minnesota. I think this series gets extended because I do think it's a year where it's just like a totally paved road, yellow brick road for the Boston Celtics. You know how some years the teams that win a championship, whether it's NBA or NFL or whatever it is, sometimes it just feels like destiny. Everything is just so easy for a particular team on a particular year. Okay, well, the Celtics got a broken, injury, just destroyed Miami Heat team. They got the same thing with the Cavs. They got Tyrese Halliburton going down, so they got an unhealthy Pacers team and a team that couldn't close out. So they went through the entire East with handouts. And then you could give them another handout by this series being a series that actually ends up going 6 or 7 games. So you'll have the Celtics with the rest. The Mavericks, if they, more than likely pull this off, the Mavericks will be not rested. I don't know if they can come up with a little bit of strategy. They do have one of the best defense, number 2 defense in the NBA. They're probably one of the few teams that can slow down Kyrie and Luka. So maybe it's a year where everything just kind of pans out for the Celtics, and this series being extended to give, the rest advantage, just another advantage to the Celtics. I think it makes sense. I think having both series not be a sweep makes sense. I think a Minnesota Wolves team with the entire universe against them only being a 2-point underdog on the road, I think it makes sense. I think everything correlates, everything aligns, and I've already seen a lot of people on the internet, a lot of opinions calling for the sweep, like it's just set in stone, done, call it Christmas, Mavericks, Celtics, line it up, baby. And maybe that's true. Nothing's an absolute guarantee in sports. But I'm on Minnesota, and I feel very good about it. Timberwolves are going to win this game. In terms of the total is very, very hard for me to predict because the Timberwolves win a lot of their games with defensive effort. But if we get some regression positively, some progression from Karl Anthony Towns offensively, if we get the role players for the Wolves stepping up, Naz Reid continuing, maybe Conley's on, McDaniels continues, and we get a totally pissed off, determined Ant with one of his 45-point games where he just really goes off. Match that with Luka and Kyrie and this Mavericks team shown an ability to kind of score at will themselves. I could easily see this getting over the total, but I do think the Mavericks are going to kind of be sleepy in this game. I don't think they're going to be totally composed. I think the defensive effort from Minnesota is kind of what helps them get the win in this game. And I'm going to say it's lower scoring. I'm going to say this goes under the total of 210.5. And I'm going to say it's a Wolves win. If I had to give you a score prediction, I would probably predict that this game is going to be, 103 to 99 or 105 to 100, something like that. So under the total is what I would play. But I do like the side more in this game. I do like the Timberwolves. And let's go ahead and update that whiteboard, update the record. And hopefully with this win, we can get to 23-13. Hit that like button, guys. All right. So that's official, guys. Minnesota plus the 2. Hopefully they get the job done. I think they win the game outright. And I know there was a lot of hate on the last video. So please, everybody that thinks, you guys are the pros out there and blah, 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 let me know in the comments. Put your foot down. Let's have a little bit of skin in the game for you guys. Don't just hide and come at me next video if the Mavericks end up winning by 15 points of how crazy of a take this was. I want to see everybody on the Mavericks side leave a comment down in the comment section prior to the game starting. If you guys don't at least let me know what you're betting on prior to the game starting, I can't even give you guys credit in the comments, the haters. So if you guys load up that comment section, all you guys, hundreds and hundreds of comments of everybody on the Mavericks calling for the sweep and the Mavericks do win, I'll give you guys some credit. So I think that's pretty much it. I'll catch you guys in the next video.